Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first webinar of 2024. Today, we cover Uncompromising Model Risk Management with Chiron Enterprise 2.0. I'm Efrem Bonfiglioli. I'm the solution engineer at ILTS. And today, I'm joined by my colleague, Mircea Anton, who is our product owner for Chiron Enterprise.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Mircea, the product manager of Chiron Enterprise since its inception. And it has been an extraordinary journey, beginning from the moment I first proposed the idea of Chiron Enterprise and leading us to where we stand today. My motivation and drive remain the same, and our goal is clear: to establish the Chiron Enterprise as the obvious choice in model risk management by the end of 2024. While I'm proud of the product we have released, I'm even more proud of the incredible team I have had the privilege of assembling and working alongside at ILTS. And I have to say that their dedication and collaborative spirit are the true cornerstone of our success. I now pass the floor over to you, Efrem.
Thanks, Mircea. Okay, so just a quick admin note here. So you'll see on the right-hand side a chat function. So please feel free to drop your questions at any point in time during the webinar. We'll get back to you with our answers just after the webinar. Thank you. Okay, so we're ready to start. I'm going to take you over quickly through our agenda for today. I'll start with a presentation of the company, ILTS, and our product portfolio. Mircea then will take over to give you an introduction of Chiron Enterprise, especially with focus on the 2.0 release enhancements. I'll then provide a demonstration of the platform with a focus also from a business user perspective. And then we'll conclude with providing you next steps for you to know how to explore and test the platform. And then the webinar will conclude with a Q&A section. Okay, so this was the agenda. We are ready to start with the content. So ILTS is a technology company. Obviously, we focused on the model risk management. This is our mission. I don't have to read it to you. But the really idea is that we want to make sure that you are in controls or your models and algorithms throughout the model life cycle. So really support you with technology to achieve this goal and make sure that you are indeed empowering obviously your teams of model risk experts through a very cutting-edge technology. Our products, we have two main products, Chiron App and Chiron Enterprise. The focus of today is Chiron Enterprise, but I also want to briefly give an overview of the first product, Chiron App, which is the product that allows you as a model risk user or stakeholder to generate quantitative insights in a sense that you can actually use during your testing or validation work to use test scripts to perform quantitative tasks, and especially in a very automated manner. You can share work across your teammates, but also across teams. This is a typical use case where developers and validators can share the quantitative analysis between each other, and of course, perform deep dives on the actual models to understand any potential issue. For today, we focus, as I said, on Chiron Enterprise. Chiron Enterprise is made of 3 modules, and is the platform to really oversee all models in your portfolio. So we have a model catalog to inventorize all the models, and not only simple attributes or core attributes, but also rich type of information such as limitations and assumptions of models. Then workflow engine that helps you standardize your model risk management activities across obviously teams and stakeholders, and where you can really embed all compliance to any regulatory requirements. And finally, documentation builder, that is the module dedicated to support you in the generation of model documents to make sure that you are always up to date for all model documents across the life cycle. And now I'd like to hand over to Mircea, our product owner, for an overview of the Chiron Enterprise 2.0.
Thanks, Efrem. At ILTS, we have always been committed to uncompromising excellence in model risk management. Our platform has been a testament to this commitment, empowering businesses to navigate the complex landscape of model governance with ease and precision, thanks to our three flexible modules: model inventory, workflow engine, and documentation builder. All are seamlessly integrated with Hiren App, our computation platform. This integration ensures that our users experience a holistic and efficient model risk management process. So, thanks to integration with Hiren App, we eliminate the need for users to toggle between platforms, streamlining their experience without the hassle of multiple logins and navigation. But the aspect that has always made us proud is our platform's unparalleled configurability. Recognizing the unique need of our clients, we have designed the Hiren Enterprise from the beginning to be highly configurable by business users, offering a user-friendly and intuitive admin area that does not compromise on power or functionality. This unique feature ensures that our clients can tailor their experience to meet their specific needs, making our solution not just powerful, but also adaptable and user-centric. Today, we are taking a significant leap forward with launching of Hiren Enterprise 2.0. Hiren Enterprise 2.0 blends the advanced functionality with a highly intuitive user experience. This is not just another application update, it's a transformation for Hiren Enterprise, a transformation that goes beyond just a visual uplift. It represents a fundamental reimagining of user journeys. With UI 2.0, we are introducing an interface that is meticulously crafted to be more intuitive and user-centric. It's designed to enhance productivity and it's aligned with our brand guidelines. So without further ado, let me hand over to Ephraim to show you how our latest update can level up your model risk management experience. So thank you once again for joining us, Ephraim.
Thank you,
Please,
Mircea.
the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the overview. Indeed, what I'd like to do now is to, before going, of course, into the platform, kind of give you an overview of what I would like to cover as part of the demonstration. I'll briefly cover the three modules from a high-level perspective to really show that the UI, how the UI, the user experience has been improved in 2.0. So I'll go over the model catalog to show the ease of navigation through various models in the inventory. Then I'll quickly touch upon the workflow engine to show the flexibility that the platform offers to the user to replicate business processes, so where you can embed your regulatory requirements, for instance, and documentation builder module, where you can use your own templates to generate documents in a very automated fashion. And I'll take you through the platform as a business user, where you can appreciate how easy it is for developers on one side to provide model information through the life cycle and indeed produce the documents that combine all this information together. Then validators are promptly notified when, for instance, a model has to be validated, and they can also obviously request developers further clarifications as they do so as part of their job. And then all of these events and activities that take place during activities such as model validation or development itself can be always audited, for example, so that auditors can really make sure they can check that both lines of defense, first and second line, are in compliance with internal policies and procedures. Okay, I'm gonna go straight into the platform now. I'll start by actually giving you an overview on the models. So the first module, Car Enterprise, is the model catalog, as we said. So again, without going through all of what you see on the screen here, what I want to point out is a couple of elements. First of all, Chiron Enterprise is a one-stop shop for your model risk management content. Of course, you can see in the overview page, all models are displayed, but you can then very easily navigate through these models by applying multiple filters for multiple fields. For example, I can select model in productions and only tier 1 models in case I need to kind of understand specifically subsets of the model inventory. You can appreciate, you know, obviously we use nice coloring also to distinguish different elements of the UI. But then the user clearly here can navigate through different objects very easily. And for example, if I wanted to get access to a particular model, I can do so. I could do so. For instance, I could access this credit risk model for credit cards, and see that we present here in a very minimalistic view all of the key information from the model. We call this general data. But again, the flexibility of the platform allows you to actually rename all the labels that you see here from a configuration from the UI to kind of match your taxonomy. Again, we're not going through all this information, but you can see that information on models are captured through life cycle. As you can see at the bottom, you will see that over time, we have model modification. You can have tier assessments and validation. So if I just open one tab to give you an example, you can see that all activities that were collected over the life cycle of the model are actually recorded. There's a timestamp that indicates where the activity took place. And then if I access one of these objects, you will see that here it's clear for the user what the key summary information are. In this case, we had the model validation done at this point in time where the rating provided by the validation team was approved. We could also access directly the process or the workflow that was used in this particular validation exercise. And also we'll have some findings and a review that were captured as part of the validation process itself. Again, this is very clearly kind of organized for the user to really kind of concentrate on the essential information, but at the same time easily navigate through different parts of the inventory. Again, we could go on forever, but there are lots of other information that the user may want to see for models. The important thing is that here you will see that you have a full view on all this information in the same page. And for example, documents are also a place where all documents can organize for the model. And you can see that you can organize by different types of documents. And also you have the option to either upload or generate documentation. In the second case, you obviously use our documentation generation module to do so.
So concerning the business processes that are executed around the models in the model risk management, at this stage, we already, thanks to Chiron Enterprise configurability, can cover absolutely any business process that it's executed. And also we have a central place where all the documentation concerning a given model can be stored and accessed later on. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Mircea. Okay, briefly talking about processes. So I'll show you the second module, the workflow orchestrator module of Chiron Enterprise, but I already kind of show you how a user or multiple users can actually use workflow to really embed compliance to particular model risk management requirements. So I'll do so by accessing the processes page, where again, you have an overview similar to what you see earlier for models. In particular, I'm going to access one particular workflow that was executed for this model equity gap options. So as I access this process, of course, I've already started the execution of this workflow, but I want to kind of focus here on key elements that enhance really the user experience when they perform activities for during the life cycle. So in particular here, you can see that we have this workflow was configured to replicate the kind of management of the life cycle for this model. So there was an ideation phase where, for example, the business case was discussed, and again there was an approval to really continue to development for this particular model. So I'll skip this just to keep it to the essential. I'll focus more on the development and validation stage of this workflow. So the idea is that the model developers are really guided through this step-by-step process, so they know exactly what information needs to be collected for a model, and then they know that this will feed through the documentation that they generate. So the idea is that after running a few steps as part of development, before they finalize the development itself, they may want to update some information. So for instance, in this case, the developer may want to update key performance indicators. And the nice thing is that now we see that there are already two items selected. So these are KPIs that typically make sense for this model. But let's assume that the developer needs to also add the KPI. So they can really do this very easily from the UI by selecting, obviously, the required KPI. But you can see that the KPI object or type of category is already pre-selected, so they can really focus on the right kind of information. So let's say if I also flag the business line, I will definitely see a short list of 3 items, and I'm going to, for example, select output sensitivity. So I can immediately add this new KPI, which now shows at the top. So again, this particular object is nothing but a rich text type of object. So we can quickly open it that contains, in this case, a definition for this key performance indicator. And again, you can imagine that we have also a central place to store all these definitions, which we call metadata. But we'll not cover this for the time being. Okay, so as the developer goes through the development phase, we'll keep it, of course, very brief and concise for now. At some point, they have collected all this information that they need for a model, and they're ready to generate a document. So again, this is where they use the third module of Current Enterprise, our documentation builder module. And the nice thing is that the developer already knows what model documentation template has to be used, which is already pre-selected. Again, this is part of the configuration. So here, essentially, the generation takes only a few seconds. So we can, for example, give it a title. So we can call this Webinar C 2.0. And then a generation takes only a couple of seconds. But now we have a Word document that is being automatically generated. LaTeX is also a format that we support in Current Enterprise. But now we can already see the document that was created as part of the generation. And we can open the Word document where essentially we can see that the information for the model were already included in this generation. Of course, we have simple information such as the model name. But then as we go down into the document, we will see that a version control table gets automatically updated, and also information on the model, both qualitative, for example, the classification or anything to do with the methodology that is being used by this model is represented and automatically populated in this Word document, but also going down to see that our KPI list has been automatically updated to include the output sensitivity metric. And finally, at the bottom, we also see that test results are also included with charts that potentially may be stored as test evidence in a testing platform, such as our Chiron app, for example. Okay,
a nice practical example on how we leverage Chiron app, our computation platform, in generating model documentation, right?
Exactly. Thank you, Mircea. Okay, perfect. So going back to, again, our workflow, I would like to, at this point, show you very quickly that also the validation team may be involved in this particular process. So what we want to do is, at this point in time, we want to assign a task of validation to the model validation team. So this is also show that how easy it is also to notify different stakeholders of an action pending against their name. So in this case, for example, a model developer needs to communicate to the validation team that the model is ready to be validated. Please start validation could be a message that we can write just as an example. automatically a user is selected in the configuration. Again, there are different number of options to see what users might be allowed to actually run, in this case, or act as a validator. In this case, we pre-selected myself as being the validator. And now in the submission, what happens is that the model validator user will receive a notification. Before we show this, I like to also show that you see that on the left-hand side, this task is now shown as executed. So again, this is also a nice new feature of the platform where you can clearly see with coloring, but also by looking at the status itself, different tasks that are executed through the lives to the workflow itself. So this is now being completed. And now if we switch to the validation, so next step of the workflow, I first want to show that in the homepage of the platform, I can see that being myself, Efrem Filoli, I received a notification for acting in validation of this model. And in fact, this was for this workflow. So you can see that the model validation now is automatically in progress. So what I can do is I can start this particular task, and then the star list is what I can flick through. And now I see that my model validation is pending for this model. So I can access directly from this homepage the workflow that where we were in earlier. And now, for example, I could take my time here to go through the validation, review some model information, and again, for example, you can review the model tier as part of validation, and indeed register or record some validation findings as part of that. We won't go through this in details, but again, this is to show that on one side you have obviously the notifications that users receive as part of their the work that they need to perform, but also interaction between the two lines of defense that can be, of course, embedded as part of the workflow configuration itself. On this note, very important, for instance, is for the model validation team to be able to request model development improvements. So again, you can see that at this point in time, once the validation has been performed, the validator may decide to approve the model with no conditions or with no clarification needed, or request more clarification to developers. In this case, of course, the process will go back to the developer team to provide such information. Last thing I want to cover as part of this demonstration is that, as we said earlier, all evidence, all activities that take place in the workflow are auditable. So if you see on the right-hand side, I have this history icon. If I click on it, I can see that this side panel shows up where I see all events that took place over the execution of this workflow. So this is important, obviously, to keep a record or evidence for developers and validators. And so, for instance, auditors can see whether this was in compliance with the internal policies and procedures. And also, you can notice that attachments are also available from the history view itself. And I can actually now click, for example, on this attachment that the model developer had provided as part of the development. And I can click on it. Again, I have a document that opens, which I can, again, consult directly from this history view. And I think this is what I wanted to show as part of the demonstration. So we can quickly go back to the presentation. And again, what I like to kind of mention here is that as a next step, you can typically, what you may want to do is explore the platform on your own. And we have, of course, we can give prospects and clients access to our sandbox environment, which is a read-only access, so that you can really appreciate all that I've showed until now, but of course in more details in your own time. And we also have a very nice demo center. We have a few videos where you can play, and they're very short videos that gives you ideas of different features of the platform and how different stakeholders may benefit from the Chiron Enterprise platform. So I'll recommend to access our demo center and please provide feedback. And I think, yes, for today, this is, I don't know, maybe Mircea, if you want to have a couple of words closing for today.
Yeah, I would like only to mention that our workflow engine, as you showed, is a step forward compared to BPM tools, because we implemented all the functionalities and flexibility that a BPM tool allows, but we implemented more intuitive user interface, and we have an extensive set of forms that allows our clients to configure and to execute any business process in the model risk management activity. And also concerning how configurable system is, at any time I can take the challenge to configure a new screen where our clients can manage their data and immediately export them in minutes, because we know even when our clients typically need a field, in a typical setup, it takes months to develop it, to test it, and to deploy it in an environment. But thanks to Chiron Enterprise configurability, this can be achieved in minutes. So yeah, I am ready, open to take the challenge, and we can both show how, thanks to Chiron Enterprise, we can do it in minutes.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Misha. And yes, so we are very looking forward to seeing all your questions. As we said, we'll get back to you after the webinar. Yeah, please let us know how you are enjoying our demo center, and if you want again access to our sandbox environment, we'll be pleased to actually give you that access. Thank you very much for being with us today, and see you next time.
Bye bye.